Hi there, I'm Teresa from Lilly-tree, and today I want to show you how to make this paw print pendant. The only material you need to make this is copper sheet. I'm using 0.9mm, but you could use slightly thicker or thinner. And the tools you need are a permanent pen, ruler, a strip of plastic, jeweller's saw and a bench peg, hammers and a block, a paw print metal stamp, round nose or bail making pliers, your filing and polishing tools, and liver of sulphur. Now the first thing I want to do is cut out a diamond shape from the sheet. If you already have a diamond shaped stamping blank, you can use that, but if not, actually drawing a diamond isn't too difficult. The opposite sides of a diamond are always parallel lines. So to draw one, you just need a ruler or a strip of plastic in this case with two parallel edges. The one I'm using is 3 centimetres wide. And all I want to do is draw down both sides with a pencil. Then arrange the strip at an angle and draw them again. And you'll find you've got a diamond shape. Now you can experiment with how blunt an angle you draw the lines on at as to what shape diamond you like. And you can then use this pencil drawing to transfer the diamond and draw it onto the metal. If you line up the edge of the sheet with one of the sides of the diamond, you can then line the plastic strip up against the edge of the sheet and just make sure that it is running definitely parallel along that side of the sheet, and then draw along the opposite side of the strip. You can then angle the strip so it matches the line drawing and draw in the other two sides of the diamond. Now because I'm going to roll the top of this to make a bail, I don't want the very point on the top of the diamond. So I'm just going to draw a line across there and cut that off while I'm sawing out. To help me when sawing out the shape, I'm going to drill holes in the corners just to help me get round the corners. So I'm just going to use my centre punch just to create a little divot so that the drill doesn't skid over the surface of the sheet, and then drill holes on the outside of each of those corners. Then I just need to carefully saw my way along each of those lines. If you're not very confident with your sawing, saw outside of the lines. You can then file it back later. And once you get to the corner, that little drill hole just gives enough space to turn the work. And then you can just continue along the next side. And I'm just going to file the edges to remove any burrs. I'll do the finishing filing and make sure all the edges are straight when I've finished stamping and texturing the metal. So the first thing I want to do for the pattern is create a textured border. I'm going to be using a cross peen hammer for this, so to make sure I don't inadvertently hit the rest of the shape, I'm going to just mask that off with some masking tape and then hold my metal ruler over the top of it. The masking tape helps me in determining where the line is, but it also helps prevent the ruler from slipping. and I've angled the blank so that the hammer will be coming down parallel to the edge. So I'm now just going to hammer along that edge. I'm going to try and keep the cross peen of the hammer fairly level and just work my way along, back and forth along that edge, just to keep it consistent along the edge there. Once I've finished one, take the tape off, position it on the next edge, and then I can continue. And that's the front complete. But because I'm rolling the top over, I'm just going to do the same just at that top part of the back of the pendant, just to keep all of the texture and the design consistent. Now, before you stamp onto your final piece, it's a good idea to have a few test goes. This helps kind of work out how best to hold the stamp and also how best to get the impression that you want. This one in particular, if you just do one stamp, the impression doesn't seem to come out very well. And I've got a tendency to lean back on it a bit. So I get a better impression if I hammer several blows and just rotate the stamp round slightly. You do just need to be careful that you're staying in the same position. But if I can show you the difference between the two, you can see one just doesn't have the toes of the paw print at all. Having your test stamps also quite useful in laying out your design. You can see the size and actual shape of it, how it's going to be stamped out. So for this, I think I'm going to put 5 paw prints on, 3 on the outside and 2 on the inside. And I'm just going to mark approximately where they're going to be, just to help give me a bit of a guide when I'm stamping. And then I can just check the general layout that I like, where I think it's going to go, and then we can start stamping. I'm just going to position the stamp quite carefully. I've checked which way is upwards. You can just take your time getting it where you want it to be, and then I'm just going to hammer several times and rotate around to make the impression. Now that's okay. If you do find that you haven't got a deep enough impression, you can put the stamp back. You just really need to feel for where it is and try and kind of slide it into the impression you've already got. Otherwise you can get a bit of a shadow. As long as you make sure it's over where you were before, you can just then give it another couple of hammer blows. And then I can just work my way up, continue making the paw print impressions. And that's my stamping completed. Now I'm just going to file all the edges, make sure they're smooth and straight and square, and I'll round off each of the corners as well so they're not going to catch on anything. Now I've annealed the piece just to make it as soft as possible for turning over the corner to make the bail. I'm going to use my smallest round on the baling pliers for this. Just going to take in at that cut off point and then slowly begin to turn it forwards. Once I've done a bit of it, I turn it round and put it in the pliers in the other direction, just to help keep it square. I just need to continue this as far as I can. You might not be able to get it so it's completely touching, in which case you can then just pop it back on the block and lightly hammer just to close that loop. And then the pendant's almost done. I think I'm just going to curve it slightly along its length. Then I'll polish it up and give it a liver of sulphur patina to bring out the texture in the border and those paw prints.